Oof.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Hi Dana.
Hello. Making sure I'm put together there.
Yeah, well, we have to do that. I don't do many of my own shows. I'm so used to Bill producing them for me that I forgot how to click the intro. So we probably have a few seconds in the very beginning of the show with us going, what are we doing? But here we are. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
And yeah, we're going to be talking about some different things this evening. Being real and honest and true about, what's out there. And we hope that Michelle says, Happy Sunday, fun day. Yay.
Hello.
Yes. We've both been in the paranormal field. We were talking before the show for over 40 years. We've been doing readings. We've been doing the paranormal. We've been helping people with issues that they have. And we both are pretty open about all things paranormal. And like you said earlier, Dana, if it's not normal, it's paranormal.
Right.
And to us, I think the paranormal is more normal than
or preferable sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. So you had talked about we should be open, and I think that's a great idea to have people send us questions, post them right here. If you cannot post, if you're not if you're seeing this on my Facebook page, Timothy Shaw.
We were just talking about you, Timothy Shaw.
I was looking for your quote so I could use it because I can't remember it and I forgot to write it down and I cannot find it. So if you can find it and send it to me, I'd love you forever. Not that I don't
already. Stop talking like me.
Yeah, those elevator people. And hi, Kelly and Terry. But if people want to send in questions, you can do that either. If you can't post on my Facebook page, you can go to Mystical Awakenings Radio on Facebook or Mystical Awakenings Vodcast with a V on YouTube. And you can post on there. Hi, Lisa. So there's, the paranormal field has really done some shifting over the last,
I'd say 10 years.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah. I think things started getting really different about 10 years ago. Tim, what do you think? He's probably looking for
like, don't identify.
Yeah.
I'm here to watch, ladies. I'm here to watch.
And, another thing we're talking about, Dana, and agreed on is that there are some wonderful people in the paranormal field. I am, I feel very honored to be a part of a community of people who are very
good
real.
People.
Good people.
Yes.
Very caring people who have dedicated themselves to helping other people. And we get, what do we get from that? We get to learn, we get to experience, we get to grow, we get closer to truth. and we get to help people. So, and Tim Shaw is definitely one of those people that we talked about. John Zaffis and many of the old school. And I can hear Tim thinking,
I'm not
calling
old.
me old. But he's a hair older than me, I think. Just a hair. So.
But there's something to be said for that sort of longevity in the field as well. And one of the things I could say about both of you is there's no ego there. There's no, and the ego, I think, is what's come into play maybe a little bit more in that last 10 years. And it has kind of turned into a little bit different of a vibe than it was prior to, maybe, I'm not dissing on the TV shows because I watched them too. I think there's some very good shows out there. But on the other hand, that puts a face on a TV set, which elevates that person and paranormal enthusiasts that maybe don't investigate and such. It just seems to perpetuate. I don't know how to explain it right without sounding like a terrible, horrible person that way.
Just put it out there.
I think it's just important that there's some 100% honesty behind it, as opposed to latching onto the public that way, maybe for some sort of personal gain.
Right.
I don't know how else to say that the right way. I have to be careful what I say because I'm gonna, I love all of the people I know in the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I see things on TV, I see things on YouTube, just like you guys do. And it gets to the point sometimes where you're, being a person that's done it for a long time, like you, I'm kind of appalled by some of the things that I see that are being sent out. People that, I was mentioning this earlier, and I don't know why I put myself through this, and I really shouldn't. I should just take myself out of these.
Because you care.
But do I need the irritation reading these? There are a few groups online. Everybody's probably seen them where it's like, paranormal chat, and it's not anybody famous. It's just like somebody makes a page and people go on with questions. So like, for instance, you have a lady on there that says, I have noises all night long. The cat's afraid to look in the corner, and I woke up this morning with 3 scratch marks on my back. Where do you think that's immediately going to go to? Is immediately I see probably 80% of the answers in that are from people that claim to be in the know somehow, that they can see and tell that there is a demon residing in their home, because the 3 scratch marks is against the Holy Trinity, and that somebody's living in this house.
Right. So
it just kind of disturbs me, and I think it's gone on for a while, and I just see it every day. I'm seeing more and more of the same, and I'm like, if I went in and said something about it, I would be overruled. So, I've tried here and there to be like, well,
because your answer wouldn't be so exciting.
Yeah, like, did you check the cat?
It might be the truth.
You might have fallen asleep, the cat, I'm not trying to trivialize it by any means, but you have to not just automatically jump to, Lucifer came to see you last night.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. You might have eaten crackers in bed, and you might have, turned and.
Or it was something else, somebody else, some other spirit, some other ghost in there that was trying to get your attention, which I think 90% of scratching is probably connected to that. I don't really think it's a demon.
Right. Well, even the godfather of the paranormal will tell you that's rare.
It's rare. Very rare.
And I mean, we were talking earlier, we've both been doing this over 40 years. And how many cases like that have you had? I know I've had
Probably. Well, I was
had a
working
couple.
sort of in some. I'm not an exorcist. I'm not a demonologist. I don't want any part of that. I'm not saying that, but I was involved in a few cases, so I would say 2 to 3 of those. I was wondering, but that's I can't prove that.
Right.
I can just say how I feel about it or whatever. And of course, the church or somebody got involved because I'm not qualified to deal with something like that.
Exactly. I'm pretty blessed. I have a good friend who we've been teammates off and on for many years, who is a demonologist, and she, this has been her life. She studied under Bishop Long, and she has done the work and stays on top of things, and that's what she does. For me, hell no. I am not a demonologist. And if I think that could be going on, and like I said, there's only been a couple of times where that could have been going on, and I contact somebody else.
Put it this way, I'm not even going to tag those ones that I felt differently about, those cases, as necessarily demonic. Let's put it this way. How I felt there was not how I feel in other places. What I saw there is not what I've seen happen in other places. And they were kind of similar, which is a little different. I don't think the people were faking it. But again, that's not I'm not going to be walking around like, putting a collar on and acting like I know what I'm doing, because I don't. And I don't want any part of that. That's somebody else's ballpark.
Yeah. Yeah. And, different people do different things for a reason.
Right.
That's the bottom line is, and we talked about this too, where, people will make these posts and everybody will say, oh, you have a demon. And half the people will say, well, contact me and I'll get rid of that demon for you remotely. I don't even have to come to your house.
$1,500. Yeah. I will remotely view your demon and zap it from wherever I live in North Carolina or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And even if you ask, and I pissed a few off by coming right out and saying, well, are you a demonologist? Are you an exorcist? Well, no, but I'm a psychic and I know how to do the work. Well, just be careful. I worry about very people, and that's why we're doing this.
I don't know. I know that I am not going to entertain that sort of energy on me. I don't know what the audience thinks of that stuff.
Yeah, we'd love to hear what you guys think.
Yeah.
And hi, Ron and Karina and Gina and Lisa.
Hello.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah. It's just I guess they're just, after reading it, of course, being on the computer all the time, seeing this stuff all the time, I should probably just remove myself from that. But I have to be on it for work, so I keep going back to it. It's like crack to me. I'm like, why am I reading this when it drives me crazy? But I do, because it astounds me how many people will feed into that way.
Yeah.
To try to, it feels like they're, those poor people that are writing in for help and they're getting like, well, you have a demon, maybe not what they're looking for. So,
right. And how do you know? I mean, they really kind of need somebody to take a look at things.
I would put one of the major red flags as if they're asking for money to do any of these things for you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Run. Yeah. And, I've always told people, if you're thinking about getting a paranormal team to come into your home,
don't get black t-shirts. Oh, I thought you meant form your own paranormal team. Never mind.
Okay. Get references, talk to people. Find
Word
a
of
team
mouth.
that has been around, that is reputable,
Hmm.
that you can trust. And a team that comes in and says, okay, it's going to cost you $500 for my team to show up, like Dana said, that's probably not the team for you.
Or
Uh,
anyone. That's a money making
yeah,
adventure that they're probably going, maybe not,
yeah.
but possibly try to get your haunting on some show somewhere
Hmm.
that they did it.
Right, right. So Michelle made a point. The scratching makes me wonder about beings or energetic things that are animals. And that could be, I mean,
Very well could be. That's the thing
absolutely.
with we don't know,
We
and
don't know.
there are no experts, and there's a lot of people though, or not a lot, but there's a handful out there that believe that they are.
Right, right. And that's scary. And just
Yeah.
because they may be on TV or may put themselves out there more as a paranormal expert or a medium, or, and I have to be careful because we don't
Yeah,
want
it's
to
sticky.
target anybody, but
And I'm
we
not
just want
targeting
people to
anybody.
know that you really do have to be cautious. um, Many do really put themselves out there, but don't really.
I mean, I want to see a show of hands. If I could see the audience, it'd be perfect, but I can't. But I bet you if you raise your hand, do you remember when ghost hunting was supposed to be a hobby and it was supposed to be fun? I remember that.
I remember that.
And every group that I have had, aside from the one that I did myself, ended up with a king and a queen, or a queen. And it became we got to be on TV. And it was always
Yeah,
one person driving that, you know, I'm in charge, I'm doing this and that. It becomes like this really strange thing. It's supposed to be a hobby group.
right. Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
just changed so much.
Mhm. Yeah. See, I don't. I mean, is it a hobby? Yes.
10 years ago, 20 years ago, yes, it was. There's like people I know. I mean, I look at back at some of the stuff I did. I was 19 on one. Just told the story not too long ago. I was 19 years old. I didn't even call it a paranormal investigation. Somebody had a ghost in their apartment in the town next door to me. We went in and did powder traps in there.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was creepy, of course, because it was not something you do every day, but that was also 1980 something.
Hmm.
And, and we have all the whiz bangs and gadgets, and which is really cool because we're getting evidence on those. But
Right.
I don't know. It just feels like it's gone in a strange direction to me sometimes.
Right.
Not with
Yeah.
everybody, but with some things, it's gone
Hmm.
in a really strange direction. And there's
Yeah.
so much competition.
And there shouldn't be. And in my opinion, Dana, that all comes from ego.
And that's the main crux of I think,
Right.
the conversation that we had several months
Hmm.
ago. You and I
Yeah.
sat down and talked about that too.
Right.
Um, it's just like the respect level has kind of sunk a little bit. And I think there's like, sometimes it feels like there's a lot of bad mouthing, teams bad mouthing each other, and
Hmm.
all of that. And that it makes me lose interest in it, and to
Yeah.
some degree, as far as the investigative part of things.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I'd really like you guys to, all the viewers, post, send us what you think, make a comment, tell us, hi, Natalie. Tell us what you think about the paranormal field, what your feelings are, because we've been so involved for so long. Sometimes we, we need people that can give us a different view, so to speak. Um, we want to hear, if you have questions, we want to know. Not that we have all the answers, but
No. No.
we don't.
We were just
We don't.
discussing this, what we were going to talk about and stuff. And I think this has been something that's been brewing for quite a while amongst a lot of people in the paranormal, not just Deb and I. Where I really wish it would turn a little bit, take more positive swing up, because
Right.
at the end of the day, guys, we're all going there.
Right.
Someone's going to be wrong, and it's probably going to be all of us.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, let's try to figure out what we can in the most respectful way we can, and that includes towards each other.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Above all, work together, be kind. Back in the day, and Dana, we still do this. If something happens on a case and you're going, wow, okay, this is a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what so and so thinks.
I
And
call
we
you.
contact one another. Yeah,
Well,
we
you
still
usually
do that.
Yeah.
Things come up in readings. We talk about it. Not that we discuss anybody's personal readings. We don't.
Mm-mm.
But this should really be a group effort. If you're really here to help people, the ego can't be involved. So if you're spending more time saying, I'm the best, I'm the expert.
So when you see me cruising into Michigan Paracon with my entourage and my stylish hat, and I'm walking with my nose up in the air, just remind me I was on this podcast.
I've never seen you like that, Dana.
No,
sorry.
and you won't. For one thing, I'd probably trip on the way through the room. So
Right.
Wouldn't quite be the same effect.
Yeah. And another thing, being mediums, we both get a lot of this where people come to us terrified.
Yeah.
Terrified.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I saw this other reader and she tells me I have an attachment. I don't have the kind of money that she wants to clear this. Can you help me?
Girl, you must be psychic, because that was the next thing on my list here.
Oops.
You have an attachment. You probably can't read that. Ego was big, but that one there is what you're talking about right now, which is the whole attachment thing. I'm not saying it can't happen.
But it's rare, and I can tell you that, most readers are not qualified to say,
you have an attachment.
You have an attachment.
It's probably your grandma being like, dude, you sold the china I saved for you.
Right.
I'm kidding. It's probably not. But you know what I'm saying? I think that's another thing, that there's a lot of verbiage out there now that we didn't use.
Right.
And not to sound like an old person, but you know what I mean. That just stuff didn't come up until the advent of TV.
Yeah.
And it then that, everybody started getting these, and not that it was wrong, it was just that's where the taglines that you started to hear more and more and more and more were things like attachment, or I can't even think of them all now.
Yeah.
But
I follow you.
I know. I'm just trying to. I don't want to sound like I'm being mean to TV people, because I love my TV people and they know who they are. Not that they're even listening to me right now.
Right. And, in all honesty,
it's just, I think the public is taking some of that stuff and then holding that as the absolute positive truth of the matter, where it might not be,
Right. Boy, Natalie, you nailed it, girl. It is now all about money making. It is a business, not to help people. That's what we want to see it go back to helping people. We really do. And that right there, Natalie, is why we're doing this podcast. Is it an easy or fun one to do? Not really. Dana and I'd rather come on and talk about really cool stuff, but we feel it's
talk about Tim Shaw.
Oh, we could do that for hours.
Yeah, right.
But
no, It's just, I guess that, coming from us, because we are not big, huge, famous psychic mediums, nor do I care to be a big, huge, famous psychic medium. The last thing on earth I want to be is on a TV set. Thank you very much. No. It adds 10 pounds, ladies.
Right. Yeah.
I got enough problems.
Right. And they tell you what to do.
Right. That's just not my bag. That
Right.
doesn't mean people that are on TV are bad, though.
No.
That's just not my personal thing on it. So,
Right.
some people might be sitting there and go, oh, it's sour grapes because they're not on a show. Yeah, nah, it's not. I wouldn't want to be on one of those. Would you?
No, but I can tell you, I don't do the paranormal shows. I don't even know what's out there, to be honest with you. But I used to do ghost hunters.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so happy when they first came on. It's like, oh my God, people are finally going to.
That was, I remember that. I remember where I was when I watched the first one.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And I was so happy because, we were looked down on quite a bit for the work that we did. And it wasn't all about ghost hunting for me. I did a lot of, because of being a medium, I did a lot of cleansings and things like that. Mm-hmm. So, but it all ties in together.
It does. I think once you start one, it kind of rolls into the next. It's just like doing what we do anyway. People ask, come to my house and see blah, blah, blah.
But with ghost hunters, I believe that, I don't know about all of them because I kind of lost track over the years, but they actually were paranormal investigators. Mm-hmm. My other favorite show is I Am the Haunted Collector.
My son can do the intro to that show like you think it's Johnny Zaffis.
I love when Johnny does that. It's
hilarious.
I just love it.
And I am the Haunted Collector.
Yeah. Yes. But Tim Shaw can do it really well too.
I'm sure. He's disappeared. I think we scared him off.
I think so too. Or he's still looking for his quote.
Maybe.
But again, with that show, Johnny has been doing the work since he was a teenager.
Mm-hmm. It's weird how that some people kind of, yeah.
And nowadays, not all the shows, I don't know, but I know that some of the shows, some of these people never even did paranormal work, let alone, reviewing evidence and all of that.
It's the aesthetic over the...
Yeah. Right.
And this is not, I don't even think the show I'm talking about is even on anymore. So I'm not talking about anybody that's currently on that I said this about. I'm just saying I've seen it in the past. Mm-hmm. And it's really none of my business. People like it. It's supposed to be, TV is entertainment at the end of the day. That's what TV is looking for, numbers. So if you've got a good show and you're doing the right work, I think it's great. Mm-hmm. It's hopefully there's no humongous ego attached to it because it kind of wrecks it for me.
Yeah.
When I see somebody that acts completely different in person than they do on TV. I suppose it's 90% of actors in general are like that, but these aren't actors. Right. So
yeah. And I think what we're trying to do is kind of let people know that not everybody that is on TV is going to have the answer to if you have a paranormal issue going on. It doesn't mean they're going to know what to do about it.
I would say even people that have been doing it a long time, like you and me and whoever, we can't even definitively tell you.
No.
We can't sit there and tell you have an angel, devil, it's your Grandpa Joe, it's Mary Ann or whatever. That we might pick up that it's Mary Ann, but do we really know that's Mary Ann?
Right.
It feels like it, looks like it, she's talking like it, but
But if you go to a true blue team, they will come in and investigate and work with you, work with what's going on to try to find out what is happening.
And they won't charge you money to do so.
Right.
I keep reiterating that because I just heard of another one not too long ago. That was a lady paid. I think it was. I want to say maybe that's where that 1,500 came from. I'm pretty sure that's what she told me.
God.
Yeah, and
seriously.
I mean that's desperation. If you're paying, you've got to be afraid enough that you are paying that sort of money to bring in a team of people you don't really know.
Yeah, and a lot of people that have paranormal things happen don't know that there are many teams out there that they don't have to pay. I can't tell you how often I'll get, hi Jason, a phone call from somebody and say, well, what does it cost? What's it going to cost me to be your team?
Yeah.
It doesn't cost anything. Are you serious? No, no. We're not experts. We're not, we are there to help and to learn ourselves. It's not about money.
Plus, what if you're wrong?
Exactly.
What if you go in one night for an investigation and give your thing and you're wrong?
Yeah, and absolutely that can happen. That can happen. And, people have this idea that a team can come in one time, have all the answers and take care of the problem and it's done. And that's also usually not the case. I've got families that I've worked with for years and years and years.
Yes, I have a few that their cases have been ongoing for about 5 years now. And that is one of the ones that I'm not really sure what's there. I know something's there and it doesn't feel good, but I'm not going to slap a demon on it.
Right. Yeah.
So, there's weirdness out there that's not pleasant for sure.
Right.
That I will say.
Yep. I will too.
And yes, the Ghost Brothers can be extremely hilarious, Terry. You're right.
I'm trying to read some of these. I always have a hard time. Bill usually will post questions. It's hard for me to see that. Another thing that we talked about was, again, well, this falls under ego. If you see somebody on Facebook or any social media and they are saying so and is this and that, and literally putting somebody else down in the field.
Yes, that's the worst kind of
cautious.
People.
Be
that's
cautious.
The worst kind of people.
Sometimes people will warn people about somebody, but it's usually done in a
facetious. They're doing it out of spite or anger or something. So that can be, for one thing, really detrimental to everybody overall. And it also makes us look like idiots and school kids. Let's have a Facebook exchange war. What are you, 40? That's not what should be happening here.
Exactly.
That's another thing. It's like, this is not the schoolyard.
Yeah.
It's not. You all have children that act more mature than you do on Facebook.
Right.
Or when they're speaking, when they're talking about other people on their podcasts. That's another thing. It's like, do you really got to get down and nasty like that and like influence people to your way of thinking? Because you don't like that person? My cat's got 2 cents to put in here. What you got, Mr. Squeak?
Hey,
so yeah, there's all kinds of that stuff out there. And I'm sure everybody listening here knows exactly what we're talking about because I'm sure they have seen it themselves. It's not nice to go out and diss somebody just because you're jealous or, and that's a factor, can be, if you're out to become some big famous person, or another group. I mean, you can have your private thoughts on that matter, but you don't see Deb and I sitting here naming names or calling people out.
No.
because I would
And
never do that. That's not my place
no,
to do that.
exactly. And we have someone here, Jason and Amy, have been through the mill with ego and jealousy from other
I'm
people.
sorry. That's terrible.
It is. And they have put, you know, it's awful how jealousy and ego can totally destroy other people. And
It's social media wars. It's
right.
like, again, I feel like we're on some sort of weird playground where there's the bullies and everybody
Mhm.
else. And
Yeah.
it's like, why do you need to do that?
Yeah. Notice I'm being very cautious with my words.
Am I being cautious enough? As
No,
I wake
no.
up to
I was just
50
reading what
hate emails.
Jason said. Yeah.
And I don't know, Jason, what happened to you guys, but it doesn't particularly matter if you felt the way that you're typing here about beaten up and shoved aside because you
Right.
speak the truth.
Well, and because they do honest to goodness real work. You know, they're not out there bragging about themselves. They're
Grandstanding,
not trying to, you know, get
conquer
all
the
this
earth.
money and it's not about ego. They don't.
Right.
They're two of the most awesome people I know. Very sweet, down to earth, caring, loving, and very good at what they do. I mean, I have learned a ton from them, and I'm way older and I've been in the field for way longer, but um, you know, you get people out there that get jealous about that. And Dana, if you think about it, we both had it happen to us. I mean, I know I've had people like kind of do this to me.
Oh,
And
that's me on the daily in my town.
I heard this and I heard that, and someone said that, you know, you're putting curses on everybody. And so said that you don't know what you're, and my response is usually to just say, form your own thoughts on your own experiences. And I then that's it. I say nothing because I'm not going to defend myself.
You mean as far as people saying things to you that are
Well, that they've heard from other people, you know what I mean? Other people in the field out
yeah.
of jealousy and ego. I
Mhm.
don't want to be better than anybody. That's, you know, I'm not out there to say I am the
It's
best
not even
medium
about
or I
being
am the best.
better anyway. It's not about
No,
being better.
right. No, it's not.
Everybody reads differently
Right.
anyway. So you're not going to get the same thing out of Deb as you will out of me, probably.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's, yeah, I don't know. The whole thing, it kind of bums me out a lot, you know, where I've considered just not doing this anymore. And then I think, I really don't want to do that. I don't want to not, but I watch some of this behavior that goes on and it just turns me right off. Like, turns me right off. What?
Okay. Our buddy Miley made a grand entrance.
Oh,
I don't want to be better than anyone. I just happen to be.
oh man.
I love you, Tim. And you
Block.
are awesome. And
Block.
you know, but Tim is also one of those people that if I have an issue and a case or I have a question, he's there for me and I am for him, you know. And he's, you know, he has the same ethics as, you know. We're not going to lie to our clients. We're not going to make things up to be cool or scare people. You know what I mean?
I am. No. No. It's just it just gets messy and it makes me sad to see some people leaving the field because of that behavior that really shouldn't be. If
Right.
you can even call it a field. I mean, that's even reaching. It's not like, you know, law is a field. Medicine is a field.
Exactly.
Paranormal investigation isn't, because we don't know what we're doing, even though we think we do.
Right.
We don't know
I
what we're
mean,
dealing with.
you have people who are experienced. You know, we know how to go into a house and set up equipment, and we have a good idea of, we've experienced different things. So you get people
Aw.
who are experienced. Yeah, I had to put that one up there.
Thank you very much, Bobby. That was very sweet. Thank you.
And Dana is true blue.
Yeah, but I can be a little abrasive, I think, about things I'm passionate about because I
But
get irritated. I have a very short fuse with my bullshit meter type thing, and that's just me. Um, and I try to keep it under wraps, but man, it's getting harder and harder for me to shut
Mhm.
up.
But that's what I love about you. That's why I was drawn to you.
Enjoy while you
And
can,
we
because I
were
won't be
instantly
anywhere.
friends. And I trust you because you're going to be honest with me. You're
Yeah,
not going to bullshit me.
no,
And even if I might not like what you're going to say it anyway. And I respect that. And the same thing with, Tim Shaw, Tim Miley, with many of the people that I love and respect in the field. They're going to be honest with me. And they're going to be
it's
honest with their people.
right.
That's what's important.
But there's just, I guess the message here tonight, and I'm by no means in any position to tell people to do this, but I think everybody that's engaged in the paranormal, quote unquote employed in the paranormal, needs to rise up a little bit and
Right.
get your standards, get your morals right. Make sure your ethics are where they should be, and try not to destroy other people.
Right. Yeah.
It's just not.
Hmm.
And it's,
Right.
for a lot of people, including myself, this is how I live. This is what I do. I can't imagine somebody else, one group gets irritated with somebody in their group and like completely trashes them monetarily, where they're losing money and stuff.
Hmm.
It's awful.
Right. There's nothing worse than knowing that a family is in fear and absolutely terrorized because they don't know what's going on. And
Hmm.
then knowing that, and I had a case like this up at Petoskey. Um, this poor family, they were so terrified. They literally had put out thousands and thousands of dollars, bringing different teams in, trying to help them. And what happened
They were
was things
paying those
kept
people?
getting worse. They were paying different teams to come in and help. And they called me, and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. I mean, it just broke my heart.
Thank you, Tim Miley. That's very
Yes.
nice.
Thank
You
you,
won't
Tim.
you won't be so sweet very
We
often.
love you. But he is honest. He is honest with us. Yeah, that
Um,
just grinds me that people do that to other people that are in fear. And even with readings, when somebody comes to me and I mean, there's so many examples. Um, and I'm going to bring this up real quick. I won't dwell on it, but Debbie Markham and I did a lot of missing person cases. And one of the cases that we had, this poor mother, just breaks my heart to even think of it, contacted us. And all these psychics had been telling her these
mm,
horrible ways that her daughter was murdered. And she contacted Debbie and I, and both of us said, wait, stop, let that all go. Neither of us feel that your daughter is on the other side. Let's work on this. Don't stop taking everything as gospel that these people are telling you, because this poor woman was a basket case. Well, it ended up about 3 months later, her daughter was found alive, and we were extremely happy. But, that was an example of this poor woman went through like a year of pure hell hearing these horror stories from people about her daughter, and they weren't true. So as a medium, as a reader, if you're going to sit with people,
Mm-hmm.
Don't bullshit them. Don't. If you don't know, and I tell my
You don't get
if I
anything.
don't know the
That's what you
answer,
say.
I'm not giving you an answer.
Yes,
I
thank
am
you.
not gonna bullshit
That's
anybody.
I do that in normal readings.
Wrong.
Let me answer Natalie real
Exactly.
quick here. Natalie, if you're talking about should there be fees for investigation of a house? No, I don't think there should be. That's my opinion, but that's my opinion. Deb?
Right. I've never ever taken money for investigating, for house cleansings, for things like that. There have been a few times that, if my team has had to drive many miles and the family wants to make us dinner, okay, feed us, or,
That's
uh,
different. That's
you
like a
know,
gesture
a
over
few,
like here's
right.
$100 or $300 or $500. I
Yeah.
just yeah.
As far as readings, and it's funny because you know, I talked about this earlier today with somebody. I spent years doing readings for free.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Or
can
for
tell
really
you,
cheap. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Back in the
or
day.
really, really cheap, or for a loaf of bread, or whatever you bring me. Um, and it got to the point where, I mean, it was nothing to wake up in the morning to 150 messages in my email, people wanting readings. And I was literally, I could barely work because I was spending all my time and energy giving, literally giving free readings
You
or
can't do that
very
either.
cheap.
That's different than investigation though.
Right.
Because that's
Someone
a
is,
voluntary people are coming to you as an individual and they know there's a set fee there. That's not
right,
you calling you showing up at their house and not demanding, but saying you have to pay me $1,500
right.
to investigate your
Yeah,
house.
they're coming to you for a
Different.
service.
Right.
Also, I mean, I still do, if somebody is missing or somebody has, their child just
Oh,
passed or something like that,
yeah. There's
that,
no charge for that. I don't charge for that
exactly.
either. No.
That's a total different ballgame.
Nope.
Um,
No, you need to pay me $1,000 for me to tell you where your missing daughter is. How ethical does that sound to anybody out
yeah,
here?
no, I've
It's
never taken
bad.
a penny for missing. No, and I never will. But when it comes to readings, that's a different thing, partly because that's my time. You're
Mhm.
coming to me for a service
Right.
and you need to have value in that or you're not going to make it valuable. Does that make sense?
It does.
They're not going to really listen to, they're not going to take everything from that reading,
Yeah.
if they're not putting something into it. I mean, when I was getting all of these messages and people knocking on my door and it was insane. Um, People wanted like a reading a week. They kept coming to me that it's like, well, we've already
You can't.
done this. And
Yeah.
even though I do take money for readings now, I do put a
I do
price on
too.
it.
That's how I
I
live.
I tell my clients I will not read most of the time more than once a year for you. If there's an issue,
Hmm.
if there's something, that you really need, then we'll talk
Right.
about it. But
Because that's
yeah,
me too. I tell all of them I will do twice a year. Most of them come once a year. Sometimes they'll come twice a year, but I will not read more than twice a year. And I tell all of them at the end of their readings, if you ever go to a psychic medium or anybody like a psychic
hmm
and they're telling you that you need to come back, like, oh, we're out of time. You'll need to come
hmm
back next week or in 2 weeks or in a month. That's when you've gone from being a client to being a car payment. Okay.
right,
And that
yeah.
is not what should be about.
Hi, Jonathan. I just want to say
Hi,
hi to a few
Jonathan.
people.
And Tim Miley said something up there too that was about his team gets calls about uh asking how much it's going to they're
Yeah,
going to
when a
charge.
family asks how much it will
And
cost, it
then you
breaks my
wonder
heart.
how many people, how many teams have told them
Yeah. hmm
that there's a charge prior to that. And again, if any of you have a team that charges, I'm not trying to pick on you at all. I'm just giving my opinion on the matter.
Oh, and John Kennedy. Hi, John. He's supposed to be working. Love you, buddy.
You're busted, John.
And there's some conversation going on the whole reading and okay, Jason makes a really good point. If you're going to go and investigate, what are you charging for?
Mm-hmm.
What
Thank
can you guarantee? We don't know. You're walking into a place, you have no idea what's going on,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or if there's anything going on.
And really, what are you going to produce?
Right. You don't know.
What if
I can
nothing
tell
happens?
I've done some in 40 some years, 43, 44 years. I have done some of the most boring investigations you'd ever dream of. Nothing happens. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Sometimes you get there and an hour later, this woman's been complaining that every night I go to bed, I hear this knocking right below my bedroom window. So, okay, let's see what's going on below your bedroom window.
It's your bird neighbor.
What? Or a limb on a bush where the cat keeps walking through.
Oh, that could be it.
I mean, sometimes hot water heaters make this weird.
My personal favorite is the ice maker. My kitchen has a ghost and going freaking out. It's like your kitchen has an ice maker.
Yep.
That's happened a lot to me over the years. Of course, when they invented ice makers, being my advanced age, I don't know if they had those when I was a child.
They did when I was. So John Kennedy, and he's another one of the old timers like us, Dana, and 800 investigations over 42 years, never charged a penny. And, you know, he's true blue ethical. He's
right. You should not charge money for paranormal investigation because I'm sorry, there's not something you necessarily produce. And then I know I saw that.
I love you, Natalie. That is hilarious.
Did you see me start laughing before? Because that's what I was laughing at. I like the toilet emoji.
Yeah, that's cute. That is cute. So
yeah.
You know, this sounds like a gripe session, doesn't it?
It does, and but the thing is like nobody really talks about it that much unless it's between themselves. And I think other people, probably the people listening, have probably experienced some of this somewhere of all the things we covered. And nobody likes to talk about that part of it because it is such a great community to be in. There's 99.9, not 99.9, 90% of the people in the paranormal are awesome human beings. They mean well.
Very loving.
It's not that. It's that 10%. And the example they're setting for people in an audience that don't even investigate, that are now starting to pass judgment on all this other stuff when they don't know.
Yeah.
And it's been nice knowing you, Chris. I won't be invited anywhere ever again.
But yes, you will. Yeah, we just want to let people know that you do have to be a little picky. As we were talking before the show, I told Dana, you know, I told people for years, if you are going to look for a paranormal team, a medium, a psychic, any of those things, do the same thing you would do if you're going to look for a doctor.
Yes.
Get references, talk to people, word of mouth. You know, that's why, you know, I'm not in, you won't find me in the newspaper and on billboards and all over the place. I don't want people to find me that way. I want them to talk to other people.
Can you imagine seeing my big old head driving down the road on a billboard? I'm sorry. Anyway.
You're funny.
It's because it's a joke to me. Really. Right. I can't imagine that.
Yeah.
However, that's me.
Yeah. And we're getting close to the top of the hour here.
So does anybody have any questions real quick?
Exactly.
Last call.
You're reading my mind.
That's my job.
Yeah. You got it. But I didn't pay you.
We haven't gotten to the end when we're off air.
Okay. That works.
Give me a little minute.
Yeah, for sure. Any advice for newbies?
Be careful.
Yeah, be careful.
You get a gut on somebody, like if you meet somebody and they seem absolutely fine, but your gut tells you the other way.
Yeah.
Go the other way. Follow your gut with people. Don't believe everything they try to tell you if they don't have something to back it up.
Yeah. And remember that if you want to get into the field of the paranormal, ufology, mediumship, you can't take one piano lessons and teach people how to play the piano. You cannot take one class and perform. You have to be devoted. You have to, I'm not saying that nobody can suddenly become a medium.
No,
but
because that can happen depending.
Right. But, they need to work on it. But Dana and I and many of us have seen people who will take one class or read one book and go, you know what? That's me. And all of a sudden they are like
all over.
Yeah, Broadway, the medium or the paranormal investigator. So just, newbies, give yourself time to work at it. Spend time with other people. If you're going to do the paranormal work, learn about it, work with people. There are no experts. None of us know everything.
Huge point to be made there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There are no experts. You cannot be an expert in an unknown field. This is not a college degree unless you do parapsychology, which is still not this.
Right.
So,
exactly.
Yeah, it's like me calling myself a doctor because I put a Band-Aid on my kid's toe twice.
Yeah. Mel, where do you see the live chat? Well, it is on Facebook, on my Facebook page under my name, or on Mystical Awakenings Radio. I see that you are on YouTube, so there must not be a live chat.
I like how you said that. YouTube.
Yeah. So if you're getting into this, and I, I just feel from Natalie, I've not met her yet, but I feel some wonderful energy, and I don't think she has anything to worry about. But if it's the paranormal field that you're getting into, any part of it, just stick with people that have been around for a while. Don't remember that television is produced and it's for entertainment and ratings. So some of the stuff you see on TV is not
exactly how it maybe happened.
Right.
But a lot of it's probably direct evidence, but it's still a TV show and you got to be careful.
Right.
Certain TV shows are okay. I don't like them all. And I think I said that in the beginning because I have friends that are on the ones I like, obviously. And I trust those people more than I trust people I don't know because I've learned that way.
Yeah. So we have to learn about those people.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the stuff on television I'm sure is fine and all of that. Even if you go back to like Ghost Hunters International, you're seeing an hour television show. But they have probably investigated this place for several days.
Mm-hmm.
The evidence that you see
didn't happen in 6 hours.
No, you're not.
Or 1 hour, for that matter. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's something to keep in mind. Yes, and Natalie will be in Michigan at the Michigan UFO Contact. I'm so excited.
So will I, but I'll just be meandering, walking around because it's my vacation.
And if anybody wants to see where you can find information on that, find tickets.
That's a big one. That's grandpappy, man. That's a fun event.
MIUFOcon.com.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's coming up September 22nd, 23rd. So get your tickets. Yes, I'm excited. So any final messages for all these wonderful people, Dana?
Just what we just talked about. I mean, again, don't take this as a negative podcast because it's not intended to be. We're not ripping on. It's just you got to be careful what pill you're willing to swallow sometimes. With some people in the paranormal. And it's important to find ethical help. Yeah.
Always, look into the background or get references or something with people. And like Dana said, we're not here to rip any certain people apart. We're just here to inform people that it's not everybody can be trusted. And if somebody's talking terrible about
other people,
be careful.
That's a huge red flag right there to really look at what they're presenting to you.
Yeah, the ego does not belong in this field.
Neither does a cult-like following of anyone.
Exactly. So follow your gut, follow your heart. Don't let people tell you what to do, how to do it, but learn. Follow your instincts.
Right. I feel like we should be singing Kumbaya now.
You don't want me to sing. Oh, Lord, no. People will think there is a demon on the show, let me tell you.
We're going to make you do karaoke in Michigan.
Oh, no. No, I don't even get that drunk. Not that drunk.
Not that drunk.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dana. This was fun. Yes. I love doing shows with you.
We'll have to pick another date.
Yes, we will. So everyone stay tuned, and we'll see you again next time.
Yep. All righty.
Good night.
Bye-bye.